Okay, what's going on guys? So I've got another solo YouTube video here today, so it's just me, no one else, and I'm going to be going through yet another Academy Premier League replay. So far we've only had Gen 8OU replays. There will be some other replays from other tiers. We've got like Gen 7OU, Gen 6, 5 and 4, although I will be needing help with generations 5 and below, so I'll be getting a guest on to kind of take over a little bit with that one. So today we've got Sp0oNl0rD versus Skeptcal Dingo. I love the names. Everyone just has such crazy names. It's like when you try and say them, it's a bit of a challenge in itself. So I'm just going to go over what I think of this game, how it's going and stuff like that. So the first thing that I want to say is Holucha's really quite good here. So outside of the Landorus, it essentially can just kill everything with a +2 acrobatics outside of Finny. So any sort of chip on Finny and Landorus, and it can just kind of sweep, because it can set up easily against the Kartana, especially, and to a degree the Volcarona as well, especially if like Veil is up. So that's the first thing that I notice here. The second thing I notice is Melmetal is really strong, clicking double iron bash. So there's a Volcarona here, obviously. There's two things to say about that. Is that first, it could very well be protective pads on this type of team, on this type of offensive team, so you wouldn't get the flame body burn. And second, it could be like Rock Slide or Stone Edge Melmetal, which means that if you catch the Volcarona on the switch, then it's gone, and they don't really have any switch into double iron bash after that. They have the Kartana, but I mean Kartana's not so much of a threat with the Garchomp and the Magnezone and the Dragonite, and also the Melmetal can tank your hit and click superpower. So that's the first thing I notice. Then the second thing I notice is Weavile is really quite strong here as well. So outside of Melmetal, and to a degree Magnezone, can essentially kill everything on this team, because this is most likely screens, so it means that you can just click knock off and Icicle Crash, or even click Sword Stance in front of this here. So if you were to say click Sword Stance as they reflect, and then you were to click Icicle Crash or knock off, they don't really have a switch in. So those are the main things I want to say. The next is that Latias can click Psychic really quite nicely here. So if it's either specs or weakness policy, that's really good. So if it's specs clicking Psychic, the only switching really is Melmetal, and if that's protected pads, it's not switching in nicely. It could be Assault Vest for that reason, to help with Lele and things like that, but I mean, we don't know. And then I think that's all there really is to talk about. First up in the team preview, so the Kartana is somewhat nice, although it can be trapped by the Magnezone. So if it locks into something like Leaf Blade or Smart Strike, then this can just kill it with Body Press. So as for lead matchups, what I think is going to happen, so I think if it specs Latias, that's definitely a good lead, because if they try and just lead kind of just casually with Coco, that's a free Psychic. And if they try and lead with Garchomp for rocks, it's basically a free Draco. So I think that's the best lead on his part, and for that reason, you could honestly just lead with Melmetal. It's very unlikely that they lead with Volcarona. So especially if this is double iron bash or rock slide, I think Melmetal versus Latias is the best lead here. So I mean, I think this is a fine lead, because Weavile does well, especially if you're expecting this to be dual screens Coco, which you should, considering there's a Holucha here. So I think the best play here is to just click Sword Stance. So what that does is, that doesn't really like allow you to just click Reflect and then click U-turn into Holucha very easily, because you click a free Icicle Crash. So you click Sword Stance on the Reflect, then you click Icicle Crash. He's basically forced to, if he like light screens that turns, he takes a lot, and otherwise he has to U-turn into Melmetal, which, I mean, it's a fine position for him, but you've kind of wasted your Reflect turns at that point, and you've not managed to get up light screen. So let's see what happens here. I definitely think that Sword Stance here is the best play. So he decides to make the safer play for this potentially being like heavy duty boots, Dazzling Gleam or something, but I'm assuming this is going to give away momentum into a Reflect. Yeah, so that's the thing. In this matchup where he's not got the better matchup, he has to be making more aggressive plays than that. He has to be clicking a Sword Stance there, in my opinion. It's now he's in an awkward position where essentially anything can come in, especially if he gets the taunt right on the Stealth Rocks. Yeah, so I mean, the damage here is nice, especially for something like Weavile, but outside of that you're just in a worse position because he's got both of his screens up here to U-turn into Garchomp. So I think there the Smackdown was a fine play to get the Hawlucha, especially if it's like sub Hawlucha versus like a Toxic Landorus or something, because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to hit it. You would have had to U-turn out or something like that. I mean, I know you don't have that many moves, but so yeah, this is a fine play. You don't necessarily need rocks here, but so you can click Sword Stance and try and break through the Finny and Landorus and stuff like that. I don't believe that you die to Weavile either when you're behind screens. I'll have to calculate that. Yeah. So you only take about 40%, which is a crazy amount. You know, like such a low amount. So that's quite free to just click Sword Stance here, because he does go hard into Weavile, but it's fine. Earthquake kills or Scale Shot, depending. Yeah, of course you have Triple Axle, but still doesn't kill, right? Sorry, behind screens it does kill. So let me go back here and see if there's a better play than clicking Sword Stance. I mean, it's definitely a good play going hard into the Weavile. I misread the calc. I thought they said that you didn't die. So yeah, I think that was definitely a good play going hard into Weavile. And maybe just for that reason you should have clicked Scale Shot, and then he wouldn't have been able to kill you with Weavile, even with the -1 defense. It would have only done 55%. And then you'd be able to click Earthquake or Scale Shot on the next turn, and you'd basically break through quite a lot of this team. And that would have been a really good play in that position, I think. Then again, if he'd stayed in and clicked U-turn, you'd be in a worse position. But so this is a fine play. So it's interesting he goes into Landorus here. So we didn't see leftovers before, so it could definitely be Helmet, and getting chip on this is really nice actually for Latias, Weavile, Kartana. So I actually do quite like this play. I was initially thinking why not go into Volcarona, but just in case he clicks Double Iron Bash and gets the Helmet chip, that's really bad for Sp0oNl0rD if he does that. Because he doesn't, so as he doubles here into the Garchomp, so that catches the Volcarona nicely, but it puts you in the same position as you were in before, but the Reflect is going to wear off. So I'm thinking if there's a different play that you could have made there. You could have just gone into Dragonite as well, especially if you're dual Wing Beat. Because I'm not sure. I think it's a fine play, but it's not really thought through that well. So he's Sword Stance again, and I just don't think it's the right play to keep on Sword Stancing. You could have been in the same position again where you clicked Scale Shot or Earthquake into this, and he can't keep making this play into Weavile if you do that. And then once the Weavile is chipped down, this kind of kills everything. So if he clicked Scale Shot there, he would have been. Now, I don't think that was necessary at all to stay in. So it might have been expecting a knockoff into the Melmetal, and that's why he did it. There's no reason for Skeptcal Dingo to ever click that. He's in a cycle of plays here that's good for him, because the Coco's weak, and the Melmetal is being chipped every time you click Ice Core Crash. And you can easily go into Volcarona, and Landorus especially with the Rocky Helmet. So this is a good cycle of plays for Skeptcal Dingo, so he always clicks Ice Core Crash here. So sacking this Garchomp, it's just not, it's not a good play because it's one of your best threats. It essentially kills everything outside of this. And if you ever click a Scale Shot or Earthquake correctly, you kind of win. And say you're in this position again with Garchomp versus Landorus, he's probably going to be hesitant to make the same play a third time in a row. So that time you probably can click Sword Stance into something else and click like the Earthquake into Finny, or click a Scale Shot on him switching out of the Finny into a Landorus, things like that, and you can just break through his team. But he lets this go and goes into Melmetal. And the thing is, you can go Melmetal this turn, and instead you stack him on and bring in Melmetal for what, like 15% health, 10% health? How much is the Ice Core Crash is 16, so it would have been 10% chip. Just not worth it. He goes into Volcarona, so I want to see here if it is protective pads or if it, so that there is a 50% chance essentially being burnt, so it's possible he is protective pads here. Goes into Dragonite, that's a fine play. You don't want this setting up. Goes into Landorus on the Dragon Dance. Yeah, I think Dragon Dance is an okay play. Just because if you were to keep on trying to set up with a Volcarona there, then you wouldn't have been able to beat it by clicking something like Ice Punch as a prediction. And this also would have lost the multi-scale, which means it wouldn't have checked Volcarona in the end. Although that I don't like. 1, you are not Ice Punch. 2, you're expecting this as Helmet, and that's going to be more chip with your Wing Beat. 3, you've lost your multi-scale, and the Volcarona is going to be a lot more of a threat. You've lost your Garchomp already. How were you not losing to Volcarona? And then you can also be Toxic, and then you can never have multi-scale again. There's just so many things that went wrong with that. As he's not actually Helmet here. It's Custap Berry. I was going to say that about this turn and he used it here. So yeah, now you're in a situation where you've lost your Dragonite as well. If you just switched into something else, even like the Hawlucha. But then I guess it did come down to just losing something to Earthquake. This is a nice bring, the Smackdown Landorus here. So potentially the best play was just a sack Magnezone. Yeah. If you'd sacked Magnezone, brought in Coco, clicked Reflect, gone Hawlucha, how is he really beating that? That's taking out at least like 3 Mons from his team. Because you click Sword Stance, if he goes back into Landorus after sacking something, you click Sword Stance again. And now you kill a Finny. Now you definitely kill a Latias. You kill everything. outside of the Weavile, and I don't think the Weavile does enough. Wait, what am I doing? Hot Lucha versus Weavile. It's not doing enough. It's doing nothing, even at Adamant Nature. So I think you had a kind of guaranteed win there. Although, technically you can probably still make the same play, but you now don't have the Dragonite for the Volcarona. So if you'd been burnt in that other situation... Also, this is a horrible play to go straight into the Holucha. There's no need to. You should commit fully to this play of winning with Holucha, because you can't really beat it. Still now, you're in the same situation where you can just set this up and Holucha. Set the screens up, Sword Stance. Unless you're expecting some kind of explosion set here, which even then I don't think you need to worry about if you've got Reflect plus the boost, the defense boost. So, yeah, you die to Explosion. And what is this? What did you do? You just sacked 3 Mons when you didn't need to. I mean, right at the start of the game, Skeptcal Dingo is in the driver's seat, but I think he's just kind of lost it here from essentially after turn 9, he's just been making a series of plays, and I think it's just a little bit of a choke for after losing 1 Mon. Maybe he's realised he's made a mistake and he's let that stay with him, and he's kept on making more and more mistakes. So I'm not sure if that's the case, but if you are in that situation in a game, then you just have to realise that everyone makes mistakes. You've made a mistake, but you have to reevaluate the situation and decide what can you do to win from here. And I don't think he's done that. I don't think he's got a set game plan of how to win, because if he did, he would have kept a Garchomp to try and break it down the team, and he would have kept the Hawlucha to basically sweep, and he's not done that. So now he's in a situation where he doesn't have anything that can really win, and he also just loses to Landorus. Sorry, Landorus just exploded. Yeah, I mean, he loses to Volcarona then. Doesn't matter how he loses, I think. Yeah, as he goes into Volcarona, you can just Quiver Dance here. Yeah, and then even Quiver Dance again. I mean, I think you just Quiver Dance again. Melmetal probably doesn't die, but at least you get more damage off, because all he can do here is U-turn or taunt. So you may as well just Quiver Dance again. I mean, it's a small thing, you almost definitely won anyway, but I mean, it would have killed this thing. You wouldn't have died to Rising Voltage. He would have got more damage off of Melmetal. That's an interesting set to Reflect. I like that. I do like that on his team. That's actually really good. That helped him a lot, I think, as well. Honestly, I think that would have won him the game with Volcarona. Although it was Dual Wing beat Dragonite if he'd kept that. It also helped out Weavile a lot. I'm not sure how much damage it took from Body Press after that. Yeah. Well, actually, maybe it didn't help too much. It was a lot bigger on this team than it was on the other one. I love that damage, 7%. So that's definitely Assault Vest then. So, yeah, so he couldn't have really made the plays that he did into Volcarona either. He should have definitely switched when he clicked a Blind Bash into that. But Low Kick Weavile is cool. I like that as well. But yeah, I mean, this game is over, so it essentially came down to a period of around, like, wait, was that? Oh, it died. Never mind. I just saw the one hit and I thought it lived. Yeah, it just essentially came down to a series of a few plays that were just not optimal from Sp0oNl0rD, and Skeptcal Dingo did well to capitalize on those mistakes and win. I think honestly that was a really good game for Skeptcal Dingo. I don't think there was much he could have done differently. Potentially he could have played more aggressively, but I do like the approach that he took to basically secure the win. He really did capitalize on the mistakes that were made here. So yeah, I mean, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in joining the Discord, then there's the Academy Discord link in the description. And if you're interested in my YouTube channel, then the link is also in the description. And we're going to be releasing some more Academy Premier League replays soon, and in other replays as well. Sorry, other tiers as well. So Gen 7, Gen 6, Gen 5, Gen 4, and some more special guests on the channel as well who can discuss the teams probably better than I can in those tiers. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thank you. Bye.